If you had the opportunity to replace some of your workforce with AI, what would be your train of thought?
I turned a Wall Street banker into a socialist. Why? Well, take a look at this graph. The last time we had an automation boom, we made the worst mistake imaginable. Rather than fighting for shorter working hours and fairer distribution of the profits, we handed the reins to a few powerful idiots who gave us bullshit jobs in return. Now, almost 80% of Americans are knowledge workers, and by now you've heard
artificial intelligence will remake the workplace.
That 40% of all jobs around the world will be impacted by AI.
There is a world where your dating concierge could go and date for you with other dating concierge. No, truly. And then you don't have to talk to 600 people.
I just lost my job. And I lost it to AI.
in the first half of the 20th century, we started shifting away from physical work. In 1910, most people worked physical jobs like farming, and very few Americans worked knowledge jobs. By 2020, the percentage of Americans who worked in farming dropped 30x. Their jobs were replaced by big machines powered by liquefied dinosaurs and synthetic fertilizer, which is great because now we no longer have to annex bird poop islands to produce enough food to eat. Now, technology automated away nearly all other labor, but that didn't mean we stopped working. While some people still work meaningful jobs like doctors, inventors, and artists, around 50% of people actually say their jobs are completely, and I quote, bullshit. For example, health insurance agents don't need to exist in a country with universal health care. And I know what you're thinking, Chad from finance. My next leveraged buyout is going to provide so much market value because laying off 10,000 workers is actually going to make the market more efficient. Well, Chad, I have some bad news for you. Soon those Excel sheets will fill themselves with clever accounting mistakes to dodge taxes. But now we have a choice. We can fight for better social safety nets like universal healthcare, UBI, rent control, land reform. And we can spend that newfound time with our friends and family and create and consume more meaningful art. And Chad, as long as your ex-wife hasn't filed that restraining order yet, you can spend more time golfing on that course behind the house that she took from you in the divorce settlement. Or we can yet again capitulate to capital interests and dive even deeper into a state of techno-feudalism in which a few ultra-wealthy overlords of AI convince us that we need 95% of the workforce to be product managers, or idiots making videos in their bedrooms at 2 p.m. on a Thursday. Wait, actually, today's Friday. And listen, I'm a white guy who just moved to Brooklyn, so I'm obliged to work on my DJing career, which means I would love the freedom that comes with social safety nets. But I know convincing all of the Chads that these safety nets are important is tough. So let's go to the mean streets of New York to see what we can do.
I've come to the most crime-ridden street on the face of the planet. The criminals around me have started wars, crippled the global economy, and orchestrated the largest theft in human history. And if you look closely, you can even see the remnants of the barriers that protected the people from these monsters hundreds of years ago. And nowadays, when the authorities shut down their crime rings, the workers get tossed to the wolves as the rich and powerful executives walk away freely with the money. Those thugs are there on the top floors of their high-security layers, not down here on the streets. So I'm going to try to rescue one of their employees from this crime-ridden hellhole. What's your name?
Ambar.
Ambar? And
Yeah.
where do you work?
Popular Bank.
Well, I work at FMU. We're a designated financial utility for all the global economy.
And I work over here at 55 Water Street.
I manage a auto insurance company.
Do you feel like your job is potentially threatened by like the rise of AI?
No, look, I'm no spring chicken. It may happen at some point, but probably not in my career.
You know, we've always seen some sort of transformation in industries, and where one industry loses a job, another one gains it.
Probably, maybe not today, but in a while, yeah, it's gonna be everything.
Do you feel like your job is at risk of being replaced by AI?
Yes, yeah, it definitely is. Well, my job, not specifically, the people that work for me, yeah.
And let's say the people who work for you, there's a new program that comes out tomorrow.
There's already programs out for it, for auto damage. So for auto damage estimators, there's already AI programs, and a lot of the big carriers already use them to handle a lot of their work. There'll always be a need for, in-person inspections and stuff like that. But it'll definitely, lower the amount of people doing the job.
If your job were to get automated away by AI, what sort of social safety nets do you think are important so that people don't end up, on the streets without a roof over their head?
This is a very good question. I do have a child who's, much closer to that, works in music and is already seeing the effects of AI on certain little projects he used to do on the side. And it's, we don't need you to do that anymore.
I feel like this is the time to really get into the learning part of the AI, how AI functions. And going in the future, we're sort of going to be dependent on AI one way or the other. So as much knowledge as you could gain and to further protect your, wealth and, way of life and things like that.
Market economy is ugly. People are going to be out of work, and the next generation is going to learn new things. There's no easy fix.
Have you heard of
train a whole workforce in 6 months or 6 years? It's just it takes a lifetime. So,
What do you think about the concept of universal basic income?
I don't know. I don't like paying a lot of taxes, so it's going to be more taxes if someone does something that can show that they can do that and it would grow. It would grow, and we wouldn't have to pay more taxes. Then, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the social handouts in general.
What do you think should be done in order to ensure people don't end up on the streets without a roof over their heads?
Today, we cannot do anything because we don't know what's going to happen. Like 10, 20, 30 years ago, we didn't even think that we have smartphones or video calls, something like that.
We have kind of eased down in terms of financial benefits to people. You could think of minimum wage has kind of gone higher, but not in terms of how other expenditures have gone higher.
Sure. So if you were to get laid off tomorrow, let's say AI replaced you, God forbid, what would you do?
I would try to learn a course on AI or something.
And what do you think about the idea of universal health care?
You need to have insurance.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm in this case right now. You need to.
Do you think there could be potentially a better model where we don't have to rely so heavily on industries such as insurance?
I don't want to tell you about that because I'm not sure what I'm talking about in terms of what you're asking. So can we pass to the next question?
Okay. No, I think that should be it. Is there anything that you want to say to the people who are watching?
Hi. I have to go.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, all right. I just got back from day one of filming interviews, and this is definitely going to be the toughest video I've ever made. Wall Street is just it's filled with tourists who just want to rub the big bull balls, and dudes who all dress the same and refuse to make eye contact with the poors unless it's standard and poors, if you know what I mean. And just abject poverty right next to guys who summer in Monaco. I don't know, the people who I interviewed were all really nice, but I think it made me realize how wildly disconnected so many of these people are from the material world around them. Like that Mark Fisher quote, it seemed easier for them to imagine the end of the world before the end of capitalism. They could not imagine a different reality in which we live, which means I have to step up my game. I think if I want to get into the head of a finance bro, I have to become the head finance bro. And I think I have just the plan to make it happen. These guys love to hustle. They love and they revere the finance gods above them, like David Solomon, for example. He's the CEO of Goldman Sachs and the CEO of Spinning Sick Tracks. He's also a DJ. This is him with his ex-wife, Mary, who definitely isn't on drugs in this photo. And this is his former personal assistant who yoinked and sold 500 bottles of his wine for over $1 million without him knowing. And rather than questioning why a person owns millions of dollars of wine, countless newspapers wrote hit pieces about the assistant struggling with his sexuality because he threw himself off a balcony to avoid going to prison for the crime. Anyway, he's got to be doing something right because Goldman's compensation committee voted to increase his pay by 24% in 2023, which means he took home over $31 million, despite Goldman's profit actually dropping 24%. So, they're rocking with DJ Diesel, just like the people in this crowd. Here's the thing. I figured if I can become the ultimate finance CEO/DJ, I could create a song about finance with communist propaganda woven in, thus awakening their subconscious revolutionary and achieving the ultimate goal of this video, turning a Wall Street banker into a socialist. Or a communist, or whatever the hell I decide to title this video. And thus, my journey began. I spent days toiling away in music production programs to create the ultimate communist finance anthem. Cutting and splicing, mixing and mastering, looping and pooping. And after 7 days, I had the perfect mix. The only thing left for me to do was sifting through thousands of his best outfits to figure out how to match his impeccable style.
I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I'm looking for a man.
I searched for the ultimate Manchurian candidate who could be activated by the perfect fusion of communist propaganda and finance bro culture. And by some stroke of luck, I ran into a guy who had actually worked for David Solomon and now ran a hypebeast shoe investment startup.
Okay, hey, do you know who David Solomon is?
Yeah, I actually do. He's the CEO of Goldman Sachs, right?
Yeah. He's also a DJ part-time. Can I play you a song I'm working on with him for just 10 seconds? Give me your honest feedback.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Oh no, there's a moped right there.
He actually did this.
We're working on it. We're workshopping it. We're trying to figure out if it's any good.
I like it. I mean, so personally, in my opinion,
How do you feel about it?
I interned for a record label that he was signed to. I worked one of his events actually a couple years ago, so I'm intimately familiar with his music. I think we gotta go back to the drawing board on this one.
Not a fan?
No.
Bummer. All right.
Deflated by his comments, I wandered aimlessly thinking that this whole endeavor was a lost cause. And, if I couldn't convince this hypebeast sneaker reseller that the North Korean anthem, Cholima on the Wing, fused with the TikTok finance song,
I'm looking for a man in finance.
was the future of revolutionary finance music, there was simply no way I could radicalize the working people of Wall Street. That is, until I met this guy.
Feedback, all right?
Looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I'm looking for a man, 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 looking for a man.
How does that do anything for you?
Yeah.
Do you think it has potential?
It has potential.
Yeah.
The track song, it could be like a movie song track also.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Have a great day.
Okay.
Let's go. What a nice guy, too.
Now, although I was elated, it dawned on me that he was way too nice to actually work on Wall Street. I needed to find a Wall Street Chad in uniform to see if this song actually has what it takes to get investment bankers to separate their landlords' heads from their bodies. And that's when I found him.
Hey, excuse me, do you know David Solomon by chance?
David Solomon?
Yeah, David Solomon, like the Goldman guy.
No.
He's also a DJ too.
No.
I'm making a song with him and I'm asking people if I can play 10 seconds just to get your feedback. Would you mind if I played the song and got your feedback? If not, totally fine, but...
All right, 10 seconds? Or
Yeah?
Yeah.
Real quick. All right. Oh wait, that's not it, sorry. All right. Do you think it has any potential? And if not, just be totally honest.
It has potential.
It has potential?
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Let's go. We're radicalizing all of Wall Street, one Cholima at a time.
So, yeah, they sorta liked it. Sorta. I'd say mission accomplished.
All in all, I'd say somewhat successful. Got a few no's, got some yeses. And generally speaking, I'm fairly happy with the results. I'm glad that some of them made eye contact with me. That was pretty cool. And shout out David Solomon, CEO of Goldman Sachs and spinning sick tracks, Cool dude. Aside from the personal assistant who committed suicide because he stole wine. Why does someone need millions of dollars of wine? What are you doing? Actually, you don't even need to add the of wine there. Why do you really need millions? Like hundreds of millions? Probably not. Anyway, Thanks for watching this communist propaganda from the most crime-ridden street on the face of the planet. That's going to be all for today. I'm going to sign off before I go crazy or one of these Wall Street bros punches me in the face. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Anyway, if you want to listen to the song in whole or use it in any of your work, you can find it on my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching.
Do you feel like your work has meaning in the world?
No.